color of his skin, and how he articulated himself. He was tall and handsome. Oh my God. He was named Ibrahim. Ibrahim, I-B-R-A-H-I-M. He was born in Sudan, and he was born to a wealthy family. In fact, his father was a king. Better still, he was a village chief who took over the whole of a beautiful village in Sudan. And this beautiful village, my brother, my sister, had some beautiful river crisscrossing it. The capital was called the Mareb River. Now it's part of the present day Sudan. And this was a very, very powerful chief who ruled his people very well. The people loved him so much. But at a point, his area was invaded by the Ottoman Turks. The Ottoman Turks. You know what it means to say Ottoman Turks? They actually came from Turkey. And they came all the way down to North Africa and even went beyond that, trying to colonize it and to enslave the people in there. They were known as the Ottoman Turks. Now, Ottoman is spelled O-T-T-O-M-A-N. Turks, T-U-R-K-S, that's the plural. Singular is Ottoman Turk. My brother, my sister, they came all the way trying to enslave the population where our hero's father lived. His father was a polygamous man, and he married so many wives and had 19 children at the time that the Ottoman Turks came. His father himself led the army to fight against the Ottoman Turks. And when the fight began, it was so fierce. Unfortunately, his father was killed. When his father was killed, oh, the whole village was taken over by the Ottoman Turks. And our hero for today, Ibrahim, was captured and taken away on a ship all the way to Constantinople. How many of us remember Constantinople? Put up your hand if you remember Constantinople. How many of you? Okay, good. Thank you so much. Now, Constantinople, he was taken all the way to Constantinople. That was when he was abducted. Now, while they were taking him away, his little sister started to cry. Crying, and mentioning his name. Ibrahim, Ibrahim, leave Ibrahim alone, leave Ibrahim alone. When they got on the ship and started moving, she jumped into the water, trying to swim over to the ship. Unfortunately, she drowned. Today, my brother, my sister, we are talking about Ibrahim. In fact, he was carried all the way to Constantinople. Now, Constantinople was the capital of the Roman Empire, and later the Eastern Roman Empire, the Latin Empire. In fact, the Ottoman Empire, it became. My brother, my sister, he was carried all the way to this empire. And over there, he was handed over to a certain king as a slave. The moment the king saw him, he took interest in him because, one, he was very well educated and he looked very healthy. He was very, very handsome. His skin color mesmerized him because the color was dark, yes, but it came with a shiny kind of luster. Luster is spelled L-U-S-T-R-E. Luster, a certain kind of shine, a certain kind of quality that gave him uniqueness. Now he was giving up to this king. Oh my God, have mercy. Right there in the palace in Moscow. And the king, my brother, my sister, loved him so much. He was the Tsar of Moscow. You know, the people in Rome, in fact, and even Russia, you know, in fact, mostly in Russia, they call their leaders or kings Tsars. T-S-A-R. My brother, my sister, this Tsar took so much interest in him, loved him so much, and kept him in the palace where he lived with him and did his work. Oh my God, he got the chance to go to school right there in Moscow, the capital of Russia today, in 1717. He went to school at Metz, M-E-T-Z. Now, Metz is a city in northeast France, located at the confluence of some very beautiful rivers, the Moselle and the Seille rivers. It's a very beautiful city. So they moved him all the way from Moscow, where he started having his education, and went all the way to France to educate himself. By the time he was very fluent in several languages, just after a few years of living in Moscow. Oh my God, he excelled in mathematics and geometry. Oh gosh, and by 1718, just 1 year after living in France, our great hero Ibrahim, whose name was changed to Abram, A-B-R-A-M, Abram. You know, Ibrahim is Abraham or Abraham, you know. So his name was changed when he was baptized, my brother, my sister, by the Tsar, and he became a Christian, dropped his Muslim beliefs, and became a Catholic actually. So he became known as Abram Petrovich Gannibal. Abram, or better still, Abram Petrovich Gannibal. Now, Petrovich is almost like Peter. Gannibal is G-A-N-N-I-B-A-L. G-A-N-N-I-B-A-L. Gannibal. So, Abram Petrovich Gannibal. That was what his name became. Abram Petrovich Gannibal. Oh gosh, he was a brilliant student. Hey! In no time in France, he was able to speak French. He spoke Russian. He spoke the Roman language. Hey! He even spoke languages that nobody understood. But of course, they knew those languages were coming from Africa. Now, whilst he was in France, there was a war between France and Spain. And therefore, his education came to an abrupt end. Oh my God. It was known as the War of the Quadruple Alliance. There he was. He was caught in the crossfire. But everything was okay. When he finished, he returned to his country. I'm talking about Moscow in Russia. His education was completed by 1723. When everything was done, he returned to Russia. And after all these things, oh my God, he had a beautiful woman to marry, because he was now in the royal family. And because he was well educated, he was loved by the royal family. And they gave him a royal position. A black man just like that. Today when you go to Russia, you will see his statues all over the place. Today when you go to Russia, the Russians will tell you about this wonderful African who became a royal in that country. He had a wife and he made babies. Oh gosh. And those babies, my brother, my sister, became black Russians. In 1741, when Elizabeth of Russia became the new monarch, Gannibal became a prominent member of her court and rose to the rank of Major General in the army and became superintendent of Reval. Now that position is very, very much as important as it was in those days. Now Reval is now called Tallinn in Estonia today. My brother, my sister, he held this position all the way until 1752. Oh my God, he rose from one post to the other. He was so respected. Oh my God. And interestingly, in an official document that Gannibal submitted in 1742 to Empress Elizabeth, while petitioning for the rank of nobility and of a coat of arms, he asked for the right to use a family crest emblazoned with an elephant and the mysterious word FVMMO. I need you to write down that, student. He wanted to use the coat of arms and be given the rank of nobility to represent that he was coming from the noble home. In fact, the royal home. And then on top of that, he wanted to have the mysterious word FVMMO. MMO. In fact, put on top of his shirt wherever he went. And what did that mean? It meant homeland in the Kotoko language. FVMMO means homeland in the Kotoko language. Now, students, what is the Kotoko language? Kotoko is spelled K-O-T-O-K-O. Now, the Kotoko language, oh my God, have mercy, is here. What is the Kotoko language? The Kotoko language, my brother, my sister, is a Bui, Mandara, or Central Chadic language of the Afro-Asiatic family, and are spoken in Nigeria, in Chad, and also in Cameroon. Remember, I told you he spoke some very interesting African languages. One of them was the Kotoko language. He remembered his African upbringing, and of course, the might of his father in the village, how his sister drowned whilst chasing him. Oh my God, FVMMO. And in that language, it simply means homeland. And he simply wanted to say he was from Africa. My brother, my sister, he was married twice. His first wife was Evdokia Diopa. Evdokia is spelled E-V-D-O-K-I-A, and Diopa is D-O-P-E-R. She was a Greek woman. Now, the couple married in 1731. Diopa despised her husband because he was black. And she was actually forced to marry him because he was from the royal home. Oh gosh. Now, the marriage between Diopa and Gannibal was very volatile, and he suspected her of infidelity early in their marriage. Gannibal's suspicions were confirmed when Diopa gave birth to a white daughter. How can you give birth to a white daughter when a black man is riding you night and day? So Gannibal found out that she had been unfaithful to him. He had her arrested and thrown into prison, where she spent 11 years for infidelity. Oh gosh. Gannibal began living with another woman called Christina Regina Siobeg. Oh my God. They had a daughter. In fact, they made children. Oh my God. Today, my brother, my sister, we're talking about the great black man who became an emperor right there in Russia. Oh gosh. Now, the governments of Ethiopia and Eritrea still claim that this man was Ethiopian. And for that matter, they keep on holding him in that country in high esteem. And they have even built statues for him. In Cameroon, they also claim that he was Cameroonian, and they hold him up in high esteem. And then in Equatorial Guinea, they also believe that this man was from there. Finally, in Sudan, they believe he's from there. So 4 solid countries are claiming one man. My brother, my sister, our hero for today is no other person but the man who was born Ibrahim, who later became known as Abram Petrovich Gannibal. He died on the 14th day of May in 1781. And he died, my brother, my sister, in St. Petersburg in the Russian Empire at the ripe age of 85. He was one of the best mathematicians in the country at that time. And at the same time, he was one of the most revered geometrists in that country. Today we remember you, and we say, Papa, why are you from slavery all the way to being emperor right there in Russia? Unyaminko, Papa. Papa, Miss Unyaminko. Papa, Unyaminko. Unyaminko, what? Oh, Papa. Me say, why are you? In the burden of knowledge, I ask you, now that you know what you do, be an any ole mini about failures in the Kagane Mezaka Yini. Yeah, Papango Bukaya and Fifia, Yanuka and Wabana, and then Lele and Jima Singer Bear Kunele and Jima Singer Berry. How will the life of Ibrahim, Abram Petrovich Gannibal, impact your own life? Today we remember you. Today we remember you, Papa. It's been the African history class. Papa mula ho meo, mama mula ho meo.